Everybody still sees your picture.
Yeah, it is. You know, it wasn't up for many years, but it suddenly was reborn this year. It started in the summer, and I said, "Am I looking?" Because they used to use it. It was on the double-decker buses, the beautiful big red buses in London when I performed in London, and it was for a very brief period on the buses here in 1998 when I did the show. So when it reappeared 2010 last summer. Said, wait a minute, that can't be, it can't be. And then it was just everywhere throughout the summer. On every bus, the double-decker tourist buses, on every taxi. I mean, I took at least 25 times a taxi with me on top of it, but I didn't ask for a free ride. Actually, the other day there was this big event at the theater where they had like a Facebook event. Everybody was a fan, and they had invited Cheetah Rivera and me and I think one or two others of the later Velmas and Roxys. And you know, we were introduced, said hello to everyone. It was very nice. And then I brought my daughter because she always had said through the years, you know, Mom, I really don't remember. She would take me to the show. I said, no, I can't. I will die. I cannot see the show again after playing it for 2 years straight. And I finally saw the show again. It was 10 years later. And I have to say, it is a great show.
It's a great show.
It's so classy. Everyone is so super sexy up there on stage. The women with their beautiful bodies and their six-packs and the sexy clothes and the classy direction by Walter Bobby. And it really is a fucking classy show. I love it, you know. And you know, and Stella said, oh, Mom, I can't believe it. You did this. I said, I can't believe I did this. The number with the chair but she was very careful, whoever played it, and she did it lovely, lovely. But I remember I was much more violent with the dance than she was, and I whiplashed my head, and I was so cruel and radical with the dancing, you know, like fearless, that, you know, I have herniated discs all over the place from that. And I do blame Chicago. But you know, it's because I was like, I really played the part with so much vigorous chutzpah, fearlessness that, you know, I do remember I just threw myself into it. I said, you know, just let's go for it, you know, like she's a killer.
How did Chicago come about for you? Is there a story there?
I got a phone call from the Weislers, and they said, you know, I actually knew the Weislers from years before that, when they wanted me to be in a Tommy production. And that never happened. And so by that time, they called and said, you know, we want you to take over Roxy for Anne Reinkin on Broadway. And that was right after, you know, half a year after the show opened here. And next time I was in New York, I performed in the Supper Club, my own gig. And they said, you know, you're in New York, let's go, you know, let's meet everybody. And I came to meet Walter and Anne and everyone. And I, you know, I did whatever. It's a funny thing is the audition was not at all issue. Walter Bobby loved all that Kurt Weill stuff I did. And, you know, at the end, okay, I did some dance steps and so, but he wanted me to sing the Surabaya Johnny in German. He said, that's what I want you to sing to my Chicago audition, the Surabaya Johnny in German, you know, the Brecht Weill song. And I said, well, okay, that's, you know, why not? And I did this, and he said, you got the part. And then I danced, and then everybody said, you know, really, you are a Velma, you're not a Roxy. And after that, they said, okay, you're going to open the show in London as a Velma. No, and you can come later to Broadway in whatever part you want, but you're going to open it in London as a Velma. And about a half a year later, I think they had done the auditions in London. I came to London. I lived in Paris at the time, and my whole family moved to London for a year to perform it there. And then I came here to Broadway. And yeah, I mean, there's lots of fun stories. One fun story. Okay. We were on Broadway here in the, what was the theater we performed in first?
I don't know.
It was the Schubert Theater, sorry, the Schubert. It was the Schubert. So we performed one night, and you know, something strange was, there was a strange smell in the air. Really, honestly, it smelled like, you know, your grandmother's attic. It was like an old, like almost mothy smell. And so we started the performance, and you know, the guy who played Mr. Cellophane came out, did his scene, and suddenly briskly turned around. And we were all, well, what's going on? He has a tic, or, you know, he doesn't have Tourette's, what's going on, you know? And he came over and said, you know, I'm not kidding. Somebody tapped me on my shoulder while I was doing the scene, and there was nobody there. And then Roxy also at one point said, you know, there was something weird, like on my arm, like going down my arm into, and you know what, and then, you know, suddenly like one of the other cast members said, you know, there is a ghost in this theater, you know, who lives there for many, many years, and every once in a while he comes out, and you know, I didn't feel anything on my skin or anything, but I definitely got that smell. You know, there was one or two other little things that, you know, people felt like a wind or something going by, but literally it was really, it was real, something was there. And then by the intermission, you know, suddenly there was a click and the smell went away, like in 2 minutes the smell was gone, and you know, that whole spook was over. But it literally, something weirdy happened. And I'm not superstitious and I don't believe in anything of it, but that day crept me out, you know. There was the ghost of the Schubert Theater was on stage.
And since then, you've really taken to heart that you don't whistle in this theater
anymore.
anymore.
I'm not superstitious. I do anything. I whistle, I walk under ladders, and I say whatever, you know, you can say.